Hi, this is Jesslyn Lupo with Sedona Office Support, and today I want to talk about how to get your technicians logged into Sedona-X Mobile for Sedona Office using time and attendance. In order for Sedona Office, time and attendance, and the Sedona-X mobile app to all work together, you have to create your technician in all three of these places, so that's where we're going to start. First, we need to create the user, employee, and technician in Sedona Office itself. Navigate to the Sedona Office Users Setup table. Your technicians must have a Sedona Office user, but you do not have to give that user any permissions. Without permissions, the user won't be able to log in to Sedona Office directly, but the system will still be able to reference their username when the tech makes changes from their device. Here we will enter the username, password, which they will not use but is still a required field, first name, and last name, and save, without checking any of the user group permissions. We can then jump to the Employee Setup table and enter their information here as needed, making sure to tie the employee to the user we just created using the drop-down, and to mark them as a service type employee. Finally, we enter them on the Technician Setup table. Use the drop-down to tie the technician to the employee we just created, and make sure to enter a warehouse for them. If no warehouse is selected, they won't be able to properly enter parts in the mobile app. Now that they are in all three of these setup tables, it's time to enter the user and employee a second time, but this time in the Time and Attendance app. You'll start by going to your Time and Attendance URL and logging in. Then navigate to Setup, Users to add a new user. Make sure to toggle on both Sedona-X Mobile and Time and Attendance. Add your desired permissions to this technician. Unlike the Sedona Office user, the Time and Attendance user must have permissions selected for the app to work correctly. Make note of the username and password entered here to pass on to your technician. These are their Time and Attendance credentials, which they will need in order to use the Time and Attendance features in the Sedona-X mobile app. Save your user, then still in Time and Attendance, go to the Employees Setup table and enter them there as well, linking them to the user you just created using the drop-down. Also link them to the employee you made in Sedona Office using the Sedona Office Technician drop-down field over on the right. Directly below that, enter a pay group for the technician. You must also enter a default pay code at the bottom and make sure the default box is checked on it. If the Sedona Office tech is not linked or their default pay code is not selected, the Sedona-X mobile app will not function for this technician. If needed, visit our online help for more detailed information on the setup of Time and Attendance, including the creation of pay codes and pay groups. At this point, the user will have been created in Sedona Office and Time and Attendance, and it's time to add them to Sedona-X Mobile itself. To do this, you need to log into your Sedona Office API in your web browser. Remember that the API has company users, which are tied to a specific company database, and host users, which can see all company databases associated with an organization. So this screen may look slightly different depending on which user type you are logged in as. Both login types will allow you to enter your technicians. Navigate to the Users tab and select to create a new company-level user. If you are logged in as a host-level user, make sure you select the correct company for the technician. If you are logged in as a company-level user, the technician will default to the same company as your user. Use the drop-down to tie this new company user to the original Sedona Office employee you created. Below this, toggle on Sedona-X Mobile to give the user the ability to log into the mobile app. And further down, check the box for Time and Attendance to give them permission to use Time and Attendance in the app. Select the appropriate permissions and role group for your technician and save. Make note of the username and password entered here, as these are the credentials your tech will use to log into the app. Your technician is now ready to log in to the Sedona-X mobile app. After downloading the Sedona-X mobile app on your iOS or Android device, the first thing it will ask for is your URL. This is your Sedona Office API URL, the same one we logged into to create the Sedona-X mobile user. You do have to type the https:// at the beginning for the URL to work. Once entered, the app will present the primary login page. Leave this page for now and instead select Settings at the bottom. Scroll to the Sedona-X section. Here is where the technician's time and attendance credentials should be entered. Select Save after entering them, and then navigate back to the primary login screen. The primary login screen is where the Sedona-X mobile credentials are entered. Enter these and you will be able to log into the app. If your login is successful, you will see the time and attendance block at the top of the screen. If you see this, then you know your user creation and linking has been successful and your technician is ready to use the Sedona-X mobile app for Sedona Office with time and attendance. Have a wonderful day.